Hello, my dear friends. Uh, in continuation of my last video, which is on IBC, this is my second video on insolvency and bankruptcy code. Today, we just discuss the basics or the inceptions or features or objectives of IBC by government introduced insolvency and bankruptcy code, and what are the reasons and what are the benefits and something about the same on the same phase. So first of all, I would like to discuss here the inception of insolvency laws in India. How insolvency laws are introduced in India. So basically, in the year of 1909, firstly the Presidency Towns Insolvency Act was introduced by the then British government. Okay, for the insolvency provisions, and afterwards another act which is introduced by the British government is Provincial Insolvency Act 1920. And afterwards, in the year 1985, our Indian government, introduced the SICA, Sikh Industrial Companies Act. And afterwards, the validity, or you can say the objectivity of government is not achieved by the SICA. So government of India introduced another act. The name of that act is SARFAESI 2002. So afterwards government and the parliament also move on to the Companies Act 2003. In Companies Act 2003, some of the provisions are also there in for insolvency in 2000 in Companies Act 2013 as well. So this is the inception of insolvency laws in India. Okay, and now we discuss about the impact on other statutes. I mean to say कि what is the impact of insolvency and bankruptcy code over the other laws. So some of the laws are repealed and some of the laws are amended due to this insolvency and bankruptcy code. So basically the two laws are repealed. The name of these two laws are Presidency Town Insolvency Act 1909 and Provincial Insolvency Act 1920. I mean to say these two laws are no more in existence due to the introduction of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. Okay, and some of the some of the laws are amended to the extent due to the introduction of this IBC. The name of the laws which have to which are needs to be modified due to this IBC are: first is SICA, Sikh Industrial Companies Special Provisions Repeal Act 2003, and second one is DRT Act. The full form is Recovery of Debts Due to Banks and Financial Institutions Act 1993, and the third one is Securitization and Reconstructions of Financial Assets and Enforcement of Security Interest Act 2002, and also the Companies Act 2013 as well. So these four acts are needs to be modified to the extent okay. So this was the impact. Now we have to discuss here what was the key feature, what are the key feature of insolvency and bankruptcy code. So my dear friends, there are many I mean to say IBC has vast in very is very diversified in strength. Some of the key features I am dictating here. Okay, so number one, the IBC is applicable to both corporate and non-corporate persons. Okay, second one is allow creditors, whether secured, unsecured, financial or operational, domestic or international, to initiate a resolution process, thereby aiming for an early detection of the fraud. By the IBC, any creditor, that is operational creditor, financial creditor, domestic creditor, international creditor, can initiate the process of insolvency, CIRP, that is Corporate Insolvency Resolution Process, against the corporate debtor. Basically just by filing an application before the double A. Here double A means adjudicating authority. Adjudicating authority. So and the adjudicating authority here is NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal. Okay. And the fourth key feature is the resolution professionals can replace the existing management during insolvency proceeding. Very interesting feature. This is the very good feature of IBC, wherein as and when the CRP initiates, the management, the existing management have no power, or have no role in the management. You mean to say he is barred from the operations, and the new person, that is resolution professionals, that is interim resolution professionals or resolution professional, can take place and is wholly responsible for the operations of the corporate debtor. I think you are not aware about the term corporate debtor. Corporate debtor here means the company. Basically, the company against which the CRP initiations application is filed by the creditor, that is operational or any other creditor, financial creditor or any other creditor. Fifth, another feature is IBC provides for time-bound viability assessment mechanism, liquidation process and distribution waterfalls. CRP, as we all aware about that, the CRP is a time-bound process. CRP, RP shall strive hard to complete the process within 180 days. Okay, the resolution professional shall strive hard to complete the whole process within 180 days. If required, then there is an extension of 90 days. Okay. If required, then there is an extension of 19 days may be given by the AA on the basis of application filed by the RP team or by the RP. Okay, so we can say that it is a time-bound process. It provides for penalties on promoters for assets diversion leading up to liquidation. It also provides IBC also enables the mechanism for imposing penalties and other disciplinary mechanism on the promoters as well. Okay. Another feature of IBC is the provision of the code overrides SARFAESI Act 2002. It has overriding effect over the SARFAESI, and we can say IBC has overriding effect over all other laws. Another one is an inability to pay debt will no more be a ground for winding up under the Companies Act. As I discussed earlier, that due to the introduction of this IBC, some of the provisions mentioned in the Companies Act 2013 also needs to be modified. Okay, so also needs to be modified. So this is all an inability to pay debt will no more be a ground for binding up under the Companies Act. Okay. Voluntary, and also IBC enables the provision of voluntary binding up. Voluntarily binding up shall be subject to the provisions of this code. There is a proper section, there is a proper legislative mechanism prescribed in IBC for the voluntary binding up. Okay, I think today we just winding up the part 2. Today I am just winding up this session, and we will continue in the next class. Okay, thank you guys, thank you friends, thank you my dear colleagues, thank you my dear friends for sparing your time and watching my video.